Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So story number 44, and the title of the story is, Will Shaitan take any responsibility? It is a question, and we are going to find the answer of this story from Holy Quran, inshallah. Will Shaitan take any responsibility? What does it mean? Shaitan has a job to do. Shaitan has a mission. And his mission is to deceive people, to make the wrong people looking nice, to make the unfair things looking fair to some people, to make the corruption look like an enjoyable thing, to make the crime look like a fun thing. And that's what Shaitan does. Shaitan does not come to people and say, hey, I'm calling you to come to the hellfire. No, he's not that stupid. Shaitan comes and tell people, look after yourself. He never says, be greedy. Because he knows that greedy is something, if people hear, people will say, no, greedy is not good. So instead of saying greedy, Shaitan will say, come, look after yourself. And look after yourself means, if you have $1 million, still it is not enough for you to look after yourself. So how can you give charity? Look after yourself. You don't have to give. That's how Shaitan deceives people. Shaitan never say, don't pray. Don't pray. Shaitan never say that. He is not stupid. What he does? He says, oh, you are still young. You have still long life. You can pray later when you are old enough. Now it's time to enjoy life. So when it injects something in favor of the people, in favor of their own desire, they say, yeah, enjoyment sounds good. Yeah, I like to enjoy. Then, for the sake of enjoyment, people forget about their prayer, people forget about their duty, and sometimes for the sake of enjoyment, they need money. So money is very hard to be earned through the righteous work, so they submit themselves into wrongdoing, corruption, crime, drugs, deals, this and that and that. And that's how Shaitan deceives people, encourages people in the name of fairness, fun, good, enjoyment, this and that, into wrong things. And what happens? He does his job because he is cursed anyway. He is a sinner anyway. He is a cheat anyway. And he will be in hellfire anyway. But what he does? He wants to deceive people so he can try to take as more people with him in the fire. When the follower of Shaitan will be in the hellfire, then there will be an argument. In that argument, they will ask Shaitan to take responsibility for their punishment. But Shaitan will give his own argument. Shaitan will not take any responsibility. And why he is not going to take responsibility? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated the preview in advance of that argument for the lesson of the mankind, and whoever is prepared to believe can believe in that and can safeguard themselves from Shaitan, because eventually Shaitan is not going to share the punishment for my mistake or for my sin. So let us go to the Holy Quran, chapter 14, verse 22. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر. And when the judgment will be done in the day of judgment, when the matter will be settled, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, based on faith deeds, Allah will do the judgment, and Shaitan will go with his followers in the fire, and messengers will go with their true followers to paradise. Shaitan will tell, he will give a lecture to his followers. He will say, but this lecture, before the lecture, you can feel that there will be argument. And here, what will be his part of the story, his part of the lecture, Allah is quoting this. Shaitan will say, وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر إن الله وعدكم وعد الحق ووعدتكم فأخلفتكم. Shaitan will say that, look, Allah had made true promise to you, and I also made a promise and I broke my promise. Allah made promise to you that if you want to go to paradise, you have to believe in Him, you have to follow His command, you have to be righteous, you have to be honest, you have to be generous. All these good qualities, Allah said, Allah made promise, and now Allah's promise is true and has come true. The righteous people are in paradise enjoying. And I made promise to you, this, that. I inspired you. You have still time. You don't have to pray. I inspired you. You don't need to, practice, because Allah is forgiving. Allah will forgive you even if you are naughty. All these false promises I made. فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ, and I have broken my promise. Because I was a deceiver. A deceiver never keeps his promise. I was a cheat. And a cheat never keeps his promise. So that's what he will say. Also, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the preview of Shaitan's statement? Also for a reason that eventually at the end of the day, it will be exposed to the mankind. Allah will expose that actually Shaitan was a deceiver. But unfortunately, that time, the testing period will be over, and it will be too late to rectify. So Shaitan will say, I have broken my promise. He will say also, وَمَا كَانَ لِيَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ إِلَّا أَنْ دَعَوْتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. I had no authority over you. I did not force you. I did not put any pressure on you to be naughty, to be immoral, to be unrighteous, to worship idols, to have disbelief. I had no authority to push you. I was not a ruler. I didn't have any police. I didn't have any army. I didn't have any detectives. I did not put you in prison. I did not torture you. I did not force you to be bad. Only what I did, إِلَّا أَن فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. I only invited you. I only inspired the bad thought in you. And you had, without thinking, without using your common sense, without using your knowledge, you just responded to my call. So why should I share your punishment? Because I didn't force you. It was your own willpower. It was your own decision that you wanted to follow me. In front of you, you had two choices. One choice, Messenger of Allah were calling you. Holy books were calling you. The righteous people were calling you. You had the choice to take their path. You did not. It was you who made the decision to follow my path. Therefore, فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Therefore, don't blame me. Don't put any blame on me. You got to blame yourself because you had willingly decided to follow my path. ما أنا بمصرخكم وما أنتم بمصرخي. Today I cannot help you, and also you cannot help me. I am in the hellfire. You are also in the hellfire. I had committed a crime of deceiving you, and you had also committed a crime to disobey Allah. You had also committed a crime to disobey Allah. That's why Allah's decision had been made. Allah's judgment has been made. You are in the right place according to Allah's judgment, and I am also in the right place according to Allah's judgment. You can't help me to get out of here. I cannot help you to get out of here. ما أنا بمصرخكم وما أنتم بمصرخي إني كفرت بما أشركتمون من قبل. And before, you were joining me as partner to Allah. And I am now rejecting that actions from you. So what is the meaning of associating Shaitan as God with Allah? It means that on one hand, only Allah had the right as a creator, as a sustainer, as a provider. Allah had the right on people that they would be thankful to Allah, they would be following Allah. But instead of following Allah, some people, they put Shaitan in Allah's place. They replaced Allah with Shaitan and they followed Shaitanic guidance. So he would say that I am rejecting them. Today I am declaring that I had nothing to do with this. You are totally responsible for your wrong action, and I am suffering for my own wrong action. إِنَّ الظَّالِمِينَ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. And for wrongdoers, there must be a painful penalty. So, Our question was, as a title in the story, will Shaitan take any responsibility for our wrong deeds? The answer is no. In Quran it was made very clear that for our own wrong deeds, wrong actions, we are going to be accountable to Allah. And we are going to get whatever we have earned. Shaitan is not going to take any responsibility. So the lesson from this is that we have to take responsibility on our action, on our faith, on our deeds. And Allah has given us that freedom of choice to, if we want to take the right path, then Shaitan cannot force us to take us into his path. Because Allah did not give Shaitan that kind of power. That's why Shaitan is not a king, not a ruler, and he doesn't have army or police that they will come and beat us and they will force us to do wrong things. No. He only injects the wrong idea into us. That's all he does. But the rest, the processing of the wrong thing, thinking about it, planning about it, executing about it, all is our responsibility. If we want to do wrong thing, we can. If we want to reject the Shaitan's idea, we can. Allah has given us that power. That's why he doesn't have actually any power over us. Now we have to use our own power, we have to use our own willpower, and we have to make sure that Shaitan get out. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I'm taking refuge to Allah from the Shaitan accursed. Finish. And then decide that with Allah given willpower and capacity, I will be doing the right thing and I will take the responsibility of my action, of my thinking, of my gesture and everything. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be responsible for myself, you are going to be responsible for yourself, and Shaitan is not going to take any responsibility. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us into the right path and protect us from the deception of Shaitan, our enemy Shaitan. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.